Round one. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 147th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by Ape.net and Audio Technica. I am your extremely humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere at Brendan8bit. And joining me today, the Sansa Stark to my Arya Stark, Saleem Abraham, who can be found at Saleem TD. How you doing today, you sexy red-headed vixen?
Hey, I'm really good. I'm Sansa Stark. I like that. I like that. Sansa really grew on me in that last season.
Yeah, she's had a pretty good arc. Like when she first was presented to us in the shows, she was a bit of a pain in the ass, but she's really grown and evolved and is, cunning and playing the game and headstrong now and leading with her head and her heart and making the right choices. And I feel that's you.
Oh, thanks, mate. Bit of a pain in the ass at the start, but finally grown up a little bit, making some good choices, some sensible. I feel like that's me as well. Thank you very much, mate. And also, Arya, mate, I've watched your fight scene with Brienne of Tarth maybe 60 times in the last month, leading up to tomorrow's release. When this episode comes out, today's release of Game of Thrones, the final season at 1. You kick ass.
She's fantastic. I love her. I loved her in the books, and I love what they've done with conveying her on the screen, and a lot of character development with her as well. Obviously, she's probably gone through just about the most out of everybody, and she's walked a pretty dark path, but she's she's come home now. She's feeling good. She's still a badass. We're still ready to stab people at the drop of a hat, but yeah, go Arya.
I think she's gonna have one of the best duels in the whole show. Like, they must be gearing up for her to one-on-one someone. I just don't know who. I couldn't work out who. Like, who's her nemesis now?
Well, remember, she still said she's going to kill the Hound. Remember, she's told him that he's on the list. So maybe.
I feel like he's off the list. I think he might be off the list.
That list felt pretty final to me. She's been repeating that list for years. So, old Houndy, I think no more chicken for you, mate.
How are you? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. The sun is shining, the birds are singing. Thrones returns tomorrow. So, happy days.
Yeah, nice. It's freezing here in Sydney right now. I might be coming down with a cold. I've just purchased a brand new doona and doona protector. Very important. I didn't have one as the cold was coming in during the week, so I was freezing at night. I found this new hack though. What I was doing was I'd put my sheet, I'd tuck my whole body under a sheet so it was kind of airtight, and then I would breathe out really pronounced, so the hot air came out. Actually, surprisingly effective.
So you're making your own sort of bed oven, you could say.
Yeah, I'm cooking in that bitch.
Wow. And
I'm
now
Bear
you've got a
Grylls
doona
in
to go
the
over the top.
bedroom.
Yeah, you can sort of rapid cook now. Like, you could be 400 degrees C. You could be cooked in 5 minutes now with this doona coming.
Oh, well done, and tanned quite nicely. The thing that doesn't work though was that I was hugging a pillow, and I don't know why I thought that this would do anything. When you exchange body warmth, you got someone lying next to you, give them a hug, it's very warm. I thought my pillow could do that for me. It can't.
Damn it.
Yeah. Stays though. It doesn't leave in the middle of the night. That's always good.
Yeah, that's true. That's half the battle, isn't it?
It is half the battle.
But speaking of battles, I see you finally dove into Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice.
Sekiro, yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, this game. So I've come out of playing Dark Souls 3 straight into this. Nothing in between, no game in between, no time off in between. Dark Souls 3 is Sekiro. It's so good and it's very similar, and yet there are so many differences in this game. And I feel like I'm almost at a disadvantage having played Dark Souls 3 so close to it, because I'm so used to the Dark Souls 3, combat system and mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you what, man, Sekiro's like Stockholm Syndrome in a game. It really is. Like, you hate it and you hate it and you hate it, and then it gives you a win. And then all of a sudden it's like it's my favorite game. I'm still quite early on, but did you you would have had to have fought the Shinobi Hunter with the spear?
Yeah.
That guy, I thought he was unbeatable. I thought the game was just throwing in an unbeatable character. And I must have died like 10 or 11 times. I hated the path leading up to him from the shrine as well.
Yeah.
But I somehow managed to get there. In the first time I knocked him down, like got one death blow on him, I killed him. I got the second, and I was like jumping for joy. So now I love the game because I killed that Shinobi Hunter. I really do like it though.
I love the art style. I love the universe that they've created, like that whole Japanese, cherry blossoms, tall reeds that you're sort of traversing through. It's a cool juxtaposition where you walk through like these nice, serene, peaceful environments, and then you're spilling blood or getting, one-shotted by some demigod motherfucker. So
yeah,
I like that sort of contrast in style.
I do too. I like that the sort of mythological elements are sort of nonchalantly placed in there, Like, I went in the start, there's a bit where you have to obviously go under the bridge, the pathway under that bridge.
Yeah, and there's that little like troll guy under there.
Yeah, the little troll guy. Like, if you just go actually in the under part of the bridge, there's a troll there, and they don't introduce like that sort of fantasy element in any way in the story or anything like that. They just kind of throw this guy in there and you kill him, and nothing happens, you might get a reward, but that's it. I like the way that that's kind of thrown in there, and that's sort of sprinkled throughout the game. I am really enjoying it. Some of the things I really enjoy about it, one, the grappling hook, like I feel like I'm fucking Spider-Man with a samurai sword. It's a lot of fun.
That's a perfect way to describe it, actually.
It really is a lot of fun, and I feel like the verticality really sets this game outside of the Soulsborne games. I find it almost a little bit overwhelming. You know me, I'm pretty shocking with directions, remembering where I am. Like, if I don't have a map, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And
which way's north?
Which way? Up is my north. That's the best I've got. And I did find it like a little bit jarring, a little early on, because just before that Shinobi Hunter, there's actually, I think it might be a hidden path. You can get to another area by going to the top of this really tall building, then jumping off to a cliff, and then following this like really out of the way path. And it actually leads on to a boss fight. Like this event where there's this big fat samurai raiding a village, and then someone's there and you fight this guy together. I still haven't beat that guy, but I was really confused because I wasn't sure if I should be going for the Shinobi Hunter or that. And that kind of took me out of it for a bit. I felt very lost. So that's, I think, something I'm just slowly coming to terms with as I play this game more. It kind of happened again, like that first zone that you go through. I don't feel like I completed it. And then suddenly I'm transported into that memory 3 years earlier, and that's the next zone. Like, I didn't remember any boss fights or anything. There's no sort of checkpoint to say you've completed this, you can move on. So I feel like I might have missed something.
Yeah, and that's I guess one of the, it can be a pro and a con, I think, for this, From Software archetype that they work off, that where there isn't a compass saying go this way, or here's the indicator of where the next objective is. It is very much choose your own adventure, pick your poison as far as where you want to go and who you want to fight. So there is often things you miss, and I'm the same. Yeah. Like I'll go, point A through to point C, but miss B, and know that there's probably some enemies there or some potential, loot I could pick up. But yeah, it's just this game, every step you take is measured, it feels like. The hook obviously gives you so much more flexibility with traversal, but one wrong move and you're back at the previous shrine. You've lost your XP and things like that. It's punishing, and Yeah, it's been punishing me bad. Like I've
Yeah.
only sort of dipped a toe here and there on it the past few weeks again. Like I haven't had a solid 4, 5, 6 hour session because I think I'd just blow my top and just be like, fuck this, I'm done, and whatever else. So I've been just sort of sampling the game, having an hour here or an hour and a half here, and then I'm like, yep, that's enough for now. I lost that battle, I'm done.
That's kind of where I am, I guess. Like a couple of hours here and there throughout the week. So I think I've probably got about 5 or 6 hours game time at the moment, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, you're right. Like these games, they really are in a genre of their own. What I really liked about Dark Souls is that, you can go online and find walkthroughs, but I've found the game so much more enjoyable when I just talk about it with someone and I get tips. I love that. I love that. When someone's like, oh, for this guy, do this, that, put your shield up, dodge, go down this path, this exists here, go there. Like, I really like that because that to me is a very lost part of gaming where if something's too hard, you just Google it, you look for the walkthrough. And these games are incredibly challenging, like to the point where no walkthrough will help you win. No. They'll give you tips, but they won't help you win. But it's like being able to converse with someone else about the hardships. Like, it's just such a lost part of gaming. I really love it. And I can't wait to speak to a lot more of my friends about Sekiro and how they're going and what's new with them. Just a couple of other like key things though about Sekiro that I really love. One, the stealth doesn't exist that much in Dark Souls. It exists a little bit, but you don't quite have the sort of crouch hide mechanics, the reads, the things that you can sort of ambush from. The verticality again lets you escape combat pretty quickly. I really do enjoy that. It makes me think about how I approach the area completely differently to if it was Dark Souls. I'm just looking for those backstab opportunities. And on combat, it took me a little while to come around to it, but I really enjoy the combat system. I like the posture breaking. I think that that's actually a lot of fun, and it really plays into the fantasy of like the samurai showdown to me, where it's like it is a duel and it's all about timing. I love that. I think the jumping as well is something that really sets it outside of the Soulsborne games as well, because and I know this because of my friend the Shinobi Hunter who killed me 11 times. When they're gearing up for like it is an unblockable, sorry, the unblockable attacks, the sweeps, you can't parry those. You've got to jump those. And so it's just one more thing you've got to have your finger ready to hit in case that death blow comes.
Like I like the simplicity in the complexity, I guess is the way. Like all you're really doing is jumping, blocking and parrying or just sort of straight slashing yourself. Like it's so simple, but there's so much depth to it depending on the enemy archetype you're playing with or fighting against, I should say. It's as you said so eloquently before, it is a lost art. Like you don't see this kind of stuff in many games anymore.
Yeah, like absolutely. And I think as well the fact that there's no stamina bar, it also means that range is like your distance between your opponent and yourself is very important, and your ability to sort of dash back and dash back in. I fucking love it. I love it. One thing I'm kind of on is that you're locked into the samurai class. Obviously, you're locked into a samurai class. One of the big things I loved about Dark Souls was your ability to just sort of mix and match. Yeah. But that said, I think it's a bit of a small grievance. I'm really enjoying this game for what it is at the moment. I just I really wonder how long before I throw my controller through my TV. That's the real question.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like you were talking about, shared knowledge between friends that have played this game, and it's such a stark contrast between myself and I guess you and I are on a similar path and area of development in this game. Yes. Path. We are level 1 Shinobi at the moment, but then you see guys like Sam Kingma and Andrew Natoldi from the Inconsolables and stuff, and they're like, I've just finished this game for the second time or doing my third run through now, and it's just like, how? Why do this to yourself? Like,
it's dude, I don't know, man. Some people are just made of tougher stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Mate, in other news, I I hate saying this. I won't say its name, but I dropped back into a game that rhymes with Birthbone.
Oh,
And
yes.
If you're not sure what
Yes.
I'm talking about, it's a collectible card game made by a company that rhymes with Slizzard. And it's a game that I've previously pumped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars into and gotten over very quickly. But I got bored on the trains quite... I'm getting bored on trains going to work and from work. Running out of things to play. The games I'm playing at the moment are just quite crap, the Snap games. So I decided to get Birthbone. There's a new expansion that dropped, Rise of Shadows. And it's more of the same. But probably worth calling out that there is a new expansion for Birthbone. I haven't checked out all of the cards. I haven't done the deep dive on the card lists to work out what's good and what's not. I literally just downloaded it, opened it, played it. Now, if you log in anytime after the release of the new expansion, you'll get a free legendary called Archmage Vargoth, who's got a pretty cool ability that I've just built a deck around recently. It's that he'll recast a random spell that you cast that turn. Cool. So I put that into a priest deck. Priests have this card, Mind Blast, which does 5 damage to the enemy hero. You can also, in a priest deck now, because of this other new card, create copies of minions. So if you get like 2 Vargoths out on the board, you can do like 15 damage in a single turn direct to the enemy hero. And you can obviously buff that with spell damage and, with more Vargoths if you can grab them. So I found this kind of combo deck really fun to play. Surprisingly, I have enough cards to make this deck work without needing to buy new packs, which makes me a very happy boy. Slizzard have definitely got their money's worth out of me.
You're practically making money yourself at this stage by avoiding to buy new packs.
Fucking suckers at Slizzard. And yeah, like there's a couple of other cool new deck archetypes in there that I haven't seen before. Like Warriors now have this deck where the whole thing is just based around putting bomb cards in your opponent's deck. So whenever you draw these cards, it deals 5 damage to your face. And they could actually just pump these cards into your deck quite reliably. I got absolutely pummeled by one of those decks recently, or during the week. There's a new keyword called Twin Spell, which this is the only new thing that I could see, or the only other new thing I should say. You basically can play spell cards twice. So if a card has Twin Spell, you play it, you get a copy of it back in your hand, you play it again, it's gone. That's the whole idea. I haven't played with any Twin Spell cards yet. I probably will some point in the near future, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last time I talk about Birthbone on the podcast for a little while, because it's all already wearing pretty thin.
Or is it because you are going to download WWE Supercard and play that fantastic CCG?
I'm wondering like what the tallest building I have access to is. If I download
Sydney Tower? I'd say Sydney Tower.
Sydney Tower. They closed that off. Probably because someone downloaded WWE Supercard and let's not continue the joke from here. Birthbone, same. Like if you're in this game, you like Birthbone, this is for you. If you don't like Birthbone, this is not for you. This isn't a reason to get back into it. But anyway, that's my week in gaming. What have you been up to, mate?
Not a huge amount. Like it's the same story that I've said the last couple of weeks. Outside of a bit of Sekiro, which we've already talked about, I've been sort of working some fairly long hours, so I haven't played, a huge amount of new titles. Like a bit of dabbling with the WWE Supercard, as you do with the old hashtag Snap game. But I also finally opened up my copy of Ape Out, which is obviously done by Gabe Sazillo and published by Devolver Digital. Very, very simple game. It's sort of a stylized smash 'em up where you are playing as this gorilla trying to escape this building. There is various enemies with guns and explosive elements and whatnot. It's the color palette is fantastic. Like it's so well stylized, and the violence is sort of tied into this rhythmic nature where you grab an enemy, you can either hit them and kill them immediately, or you can like use them as a shield and then throw them into walls or other enemies. And when you do, cause these damage multipliers to people or various explosions and viscera, you get these like frenetic jazz beats played over the top of it. So it's sort of like this rhythm beat 'em up where you're this, isometric top-down sort of guerrilla just trying to get out. Really simple color palette, but it is so well done. Like, it's artistically impeccable. Like, and it's so simple. You're just trying to get from point A to point B and avoid all the, the enemies and the objects and the hurdles along the way. But you like grab an enemy, it's like, wow, and then you hit another guy, it's like, and so you're sort of bopping along to the beat as you go, and it's so well done. I've been playing a bit of that.
What are you playing it on?
I'm playing on the Switch.
On the Switch, yeah, nice.
Yeah, so it's out on the Switch and Steam as well, or PC, I should say. No word yet if it's going to make it to PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, but it's really, really great. Like, it's been out since, I think it was near the end of February it dropped. So it's been out for a month and a half or so now, but it's well worth a look. I think it was $15 or thereabouts, and it's good fun, simple mechanics. It's just you're moving, you're pushing and grabbing. That's all. So there's sort of 3 buttons you need to sort of perfect. But the artistic sort of styling that Gabe Suzillo and then obviously Devolver have sort of got involved in as well, it's so great. It's so great. It's just a feast for the eyes and the ears. Like, just the jazz, like, and pow, and it's so well done. Like, I can't speak highly enough about sort of the rhythmic elements of the game that they put in, but it's love it.
I'll have to take a look. I haven't seen anything about it, if I'm being absolutely honest with you.
Check out a trailer.
How much time's in the game? Like, how long does it take, do you reckon, to clock it?
It's pretty short. Like, it's from what I hear, it's probably you'll be done and dusted within 4 hours. Yeah, something like that. So it's not a huge investment time wise, and cost wise, $15 isn't bad for that amount of time. And obviously you got replayability to sort of follow different paths or try and take out enemies in different ways. So yeah, that's good fun. And the other game I wanted to try and play this week, but just time got away, is I've got the Ace Attorney trilogy downloaded and ready to roll on my Switch as well.
Hello.
I've never played any of these games, so I'm excited to try it for the first time.
I feel like this was a Reese Kirby special, the old Ace Attorney games. If I remember correctly, he was big on these games.
Yeah, he's all about the Ace Attorney life. So I'm excited to play that this week and report back next week. Conveniently, I guess I was going to say it in the closing notes, but next week you won't be hearing our usual dulcet tones here on the Hungry Gamers. We are going to be swapping hosting duties with the House of Mario boys. So Bryce and Drew are going to be taking over the Hungry Gamers next week for episode 148, and we are going to be taking over the House of Mario podcast next week. So we can talk about Ace Attorney on there because it is on the Switch, so that ties in nicely.
I'm gonna have to find something fun and Nintendo-y to do this week. So looks like I'm on the Switch. I'm gonna, I don't know, can we Pokemon or something on the Switch together? I don't know. We've got Pokemon. I say it's my housemate's Switch, which I'm gonna, for the purpose of this podcast, I'm gonna call it my own. I have
the communal
Pokemon.
Switch.
Let's get Eevee. Mine. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure something out. But do tune into House of Mario.
Let's check out the semantics after this. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And WWE Supercard. I know you're probably trying to segue that into that when I was talking about old Birthbone earlier.
More wrestling card game goodness. Like, as I said, I've dropped about $30 over the last few weeks on it, but I'm done. I just wanted these new, this new higher tier WrestleMania 35 that they conveniently released to, belittle my deck. So, got a few in there and just grinding away. Set up a new stable, so the 8-Bit Nation is running wild on there. So, hopefully be cracking skulls and poning noobs on the WWE Supercard moving forward. But, that's about it game-wise. Quick bit of housekeeping before we jump into some news. What do you reckon?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. If you want to throw support behind the Hungry Gamers or the wider hashtag 8-Bit Collective audience, then please head on over to patreon.com/Rear8Bit. Starting from $1 a month, you get exclusive access to podcast giveaways and swag you won't find anywhere else. So releasing at the same time as this episode will be 8-Bit Cast episode 4, which is a nice sort of roasting of myself, I should say, by our boy Saleem here, as well as the guys from Forever Movie Boys. So shout out to Toby and Mache on that one. It was a good laugh to listen to myself get berated for the good part of an hour. But also, if you want exclusive access to episode 5, you get it 2 weeks early via patreon.com/weare8bit. And it's a nice deep dive into the sort of journey of content creation, like, advice, highs and lows, recommendations, success stories that we've done. Where do you get inspiration from? Staying motivated, so on and so forth. With Eldar from the Industry Pod, as well as Sammy Deej, who is our, one of our video guys, one of our all-around good guys, and also one of the co-hosts on the Inconsolables podcast. So, check it out. Patreon.com/weare8bit, starting from $1. But into some news.
This week's news headlines.
The first little bit of news I wanted to bring to the table ties in nicely to our opening topic that we had leading off this episode. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice sells 2 million copies in first 10 days, and this is as per publisher Activision. So, people are thirsty for the pain.
Yeah. Not probably too much to say on this one, other than no surprise really that this game sold well. I mean, it was one of the most, from my view, it was one of the most hyped and anticipated games of the first half of 2019. And rightly so. Like, again, it is actually, I think, a really fantastic game, but I think do what I did. Maybe if you have one of the Dark Souls games lying around, try that first and see how you can stomach that. And if it's not for you, then I can just about guarantee that Sekiro isn't. But if you like the challenge, then this is more of the same, in a really good way, though.
100%. Like, we've been pretty spoilt the first few months of this year with, fantastic releases with Resident Evil 2, with Devil May Cry 5, with Sekiro. Like, it's been a great start to 2019, and this game is well worth your time. But just bear in mind, if you are new to the sort of Soulsborne franchise or that style of game, just bear in mind you're not going to be the master, 10 minutes into this game. You are going to feel like you are an infant getting throttled time and time again. So just be patient, breathe, keep your wits about you, and just keep grinding.
All of the memes that you might see on Instagram and on Twitter, none of those are exaggerations. They are all accurately representing the difficulty of this game.
Yeah, I'm excited. But something I'm even more excited for, which is, I guess, something that we all knew was coming eventually anyway, but the Horizon Zero Dawn sequel has been leaked, some might say, by Janina Gavankar, who played the lead role in Battlefront 2 and also voiced some characters in the Horizon Zero Dawn Frozen Wilds expansion. And while she was talking about the original Horizon Zero Dawn at the Star Wars celebration this past weekend in Chicago, Gavankar said, "Just wait until you see the sequel. You're going to die. I know some secrets. You're going to die." And that's not as in like the game is sort of similar difficulty to Sekiro. I think you're going to die from like, oh my God, holy shit, this is fantastic, I can't live anymore type of die.
You don't think it's literally Aloy will die?
Oh, maybe.
Ooh, you like that? You like that take on it?
I like that perspective.
Can I ask you, where do you think the story could go? And also probably safe time to say potential spoilers from Horizon Zero Dawn 1 if you haven't played it here. Yeah,
like it's hard to say where they could take it. Like I guess they can obviously explore more of the universe, like expand the map. It was a pretty large scale map and a lot of exploration available and varied climates. You've got the frozen wilds, so you've got the snow, you've got sort of the more deserty landscape, you've got the green sort of forestry areas, so you get a little bit of variety there. But maybe you go to a different continent, who knows? Maybe obviously there'll be a new big bad that'll come in. I don't know if they're going to bring back previous antagonists to rise through, but yeah, loose spoilers. His name escapes me right now, but sort of he's your loose confidant throughout the game. He's talking to you constantly through the headset, and he's guiding you on and pointing you to where you go, and he sort of ends up almost revealing himself in that final credit scene as the new potential big bad. So we know who the antagonist is going to be, but outside of that, I don't know. I don't know, just more robot dinosaurs is never a bad thing to me.
Yeah, I know you. I mean, you obviously love Horizon Zero Dawn. Is there anything specific that you'd like to see introduced, mechanics wise, aside from the obvious? More robot dinosaurs, more variety.
Yeah, like mechanics wise, some new maybe weapon types would be great. Like obviously it's more primal and traditional with the bows and sort of the slingshots and the spears. Maybe they do bring out sort of some more smaller, more quicker, rapid fire type weapons. Maybe you can have some like little hand shivs, like sort of dual weld something, so you can get in there and move a little bit quicker because it is more calculated. And Silence, sorry, is the gentleman's name I was thinking of. So Lance Reddick played him, and he becomes sort of the potential big bad for 2. So Silence is the guy I was thinking of. So I'd say he will probably be the focal point as far as causing you the troubles in HZD 2. But I'm keen. More enemy archetypes, more weapons. I know maybe more work on the RPG side of it. Like you do get options with how you can talk to people in the game. Obviously, you've got the head, the heart, and the fist as the 3 options. So maybe make it more RPG-esque where there is more direct ripple effects based on how you are dealing with NPCs in the world. So I think that could be cool. So expand on that skill tree a little bit more and what have you. But yeah, it's more Horizon. Sign me the hell up day one. Buy the collector's edition. I'm in.
Yeah, it's difficult to imagine what they could do with number 2, just because the first one was such a fresh and fully realized concept. It really felt like a very complete game. All those RPG elements. The head, heart, and fist, trees, and the weapons, the combat system, the enemies, the world. It's all there was really nothing left to be desired. So I also am pretty excited to see where this goes for number 2.
Yep. So no doubt we might see some more at E3 in a couple of months' time, even if it's just a quick trailer or a quick graphic. I dare say we'll see something there. But then at the same time, Sony aren't having an official presser at E3 this year, so maybe it'll be a bit later in the year at a future event. So we'll see. But I'm excited nonetheless. Something else that is exciting, Xbox Game Pass is getting a few more hookups. So Capcom's Monster Hunter World and Arcane Studios' Prey, both coming to Xbox Game Pass this April. So in the next couple of weeks, it is going to be out. So 2 other fantastic titles, well worth the time. Obviously, Monster Hunter World was massive uptake as far as purchasing goes. Like it sold higher than I think anyone expected. Was well received, well reviewed. Pretty good attach rate to it. I sort of fell away after a few weeks just due to the depth of the game as far as wanting to get to that end game content. It was just too much for me at the time. And then Prey, nice reimagining of the franchise by Arcane Studios, which is a nice underrated sort of first person shooter / survival horror game. But yeah, both included in the Game Pass for $12 AUD a month or $10 USD a month. Get those and 100 plus other games into your portfolio.
It really is just exponentially getting more, like you're just getting more value for money as the months go on. I haven't played either of these games, and yeah, I might crack into Game Pass just to play, because I really wanted to play Monster Hunter World.
I know we talked about it for a little while, how we were going to jump on and roam the wilds together and slay all them monsters.
Yeah.
But then I went and you hadn't got it yet, and it was like, well, we missed that boat.
And then 2 weeks passed and no one was playing it anymore. It really, really broke my heart. Anyway, all right, cool. I like the next one.
Yes, this one is big time actually. So PSN owners or users of PSN, I should say, rejoice as you can finally change your PSN handle. Yes, big time. Obviously, the gaming community as a whole has been requesting this for many years. And the good thing is it's free for the first time round. But if you do want to change after that, it's going to come in at around $10 for every subsequent change. But a few things of note: if you do change from your handle today, it is going to be shown in your history of, previous handles, so they can see who you used to be and, whatever else. So if maybe friends only knew you as, Man God 75, and then you change to, I am Sam 56, they're going to know that correlation between the two. So yeah, but it's here. It's only taken them 10 years to make this but it's good to see Sony finally bring this out to the masses.
It's crazy how long it's been. Like, this feature exists in so many other services. I don't understand why it took so long. It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, it is crazy. And but just, I don't have all the sort of patch notes that tie into this, but just bear in mind there is some potential issues with certain games on the PlayStation. So if you do change your handle, there is some games that will become a little bit more volatile, or maybe your saves will have issues, or your sort of trophy system, whatever else, will start to create problems. So just check out via the PlayStation website the notes on some of those games. Most of them are games prior to, I think, October 2018 was the cutoff. Anything before then should be okay, but there's a dozen or 24 games there that could give you some grief. So just bear that in mind if you are jumping on the PSN name change. So yeah. Good times. Kudos to you, Sony, for doing something positive for your fan base. Are you going to change your handle?
I think I should. I have free Trump as a one. I've got two for some reason. I don't know why. I think one's an American account. I have free Trump, and then I've just got Sal MA, which I have no Saleem TD. I need to get Saleem TD out there. It's really
the hard part for me is my Australian ID, which I'd like to change to Brendan 8-bit, is currently Dirk Diggler, but my US ID is Brendan 8-bit, but I can't change the Brendan 8-bit one to, Mary Sue or whatever, just as a placeholder, and then grab Brendan 8-bit onto the AU one. Like, that name is locked forever. You can potentially request through PlayStation support to see if they might give you some flexibility there, but from all reports, it seems that if you've used that name before, no one else is still going to be able to use that name.
You don't know if you don't ask. Definitely check.
Yeah, so I'm gonna reach out to them on Monday and see where things are at there, because I'd like to get that nice uniformed handle on everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a story for another day. Minor gripe though, but good to see Sony stepping up to the plate on that one. So the last bit of news stream, pretty exciting. On the back of the Star Wars Celebration weekend, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order has been revealed. So I've grabbed a few little quotes and snippets from around the internet here, just sort of weaving the entire narrative together. And as far as where this game falls in, so Jedi Fallen Order story falls on the timeline of Star Wars canon shortly after Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. EA has previously revealed the story will focus on a young Padawan, but Respawn confirmed today that character is Cal Kestis, who will be played by Shameless and Gotham's Cameron Monaghan. And then sort of on the back of that, some pretty sort of positive news, which is, something that no doubt EA had to get in front of pretty quickly. Head of Respawn Entertainment, Vince Zampella, confirmed today that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order will be a single-player story game with no multiplayer and no microtransactions. So his quote that he said directly on stage, no multiplayer, no microtransactions, it's a story game. And apparently mass cheers to the audience, they're singing his name in the streets, praise Vince for, overthrowing the evil EA microtransaction hive mind mentality, so on and so forth. So we had a full 2.5 minute trailer released today. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in a second. But yeah, Jedi Fallen Order hits the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC November 15th, 2019. So coming out later this year. What do you think about this stream?
What do I think about it? A few things. It is a shame that there's no multiplayer content in it. A small shame. Because I think, forget Battlefront series, but like older games like Jedi Order, or is it Jedi Academy? Sorry, showed us like how fun like a team deathmatch or a free-for-all can be when it's just 50 Jedi running around, or 40 Jedi or whatever it is. And I mean that again in like in the Jedi Academy way, not the Battlefront way. I think Battlefront's a bit of a different beast. But I'm, certainly happy to see a single player game, a focus on a single player story. I totally understand why there's no multiplayer in there. I think it's kind of a two-pronged attack on their bad PR from the last couple of years. The first is that microtransactions, EA are probably the biggest offender, or the worst offender when it comes to microtransactions and people's perception of what microtransactions are and why they're bad. So to not introduce these into the game, it sort of is a bit of I guess a good news story for everyone, as you pointed out a moment ago. I also think that the idea to not have multiplayer in there is to I don't know a better way to say this. If there was multiplayer, they'd be absolutely cannibalizing on the Battlefront product. How do you do multiplayer in both games and expect them to? And why play Battlefront if you've got multiplayer in Fallen Order? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I think that more than anything is the driver behind no multiplayer in this game. The lack of microtransactions is a good spin. And the push would be to say that they're just focusing on single player content. I think that is really what's happening here with Fallen Order. I'm a little unhappy to see that it's set post Revenge and pre New Hope. I feel like that has to be one of the most boring periods in the Star Wars Skywalker story to play in, because we know what happens, and we've seen it done in the past with what was it? What's the Star Wars game where you're Darth Vader's apprentice? There was two of them.
In Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed, thanks. That's set at the same time period. It's really, and because it ends so darkly, and you know who's going to be around by the end of it, and you know who the key players are in that 20-year period, it really sort of frustrates me that they've gone back to that. I would have preferred to see this game set entirely outside of the Skywalker story. Something like KOTOR set well in the past, but so far in the past that they can completely well build and decide what they want to do. I don't think canon...
That'd be fantastic, yeah.
It would be, yeah. I really don't see the need to stick to canon or to create a canon story. And this is a canon story. Like, this is meant to form part of the broader Star Wars universe. I just don't think it's necessary. I think you can have a lot more fun and create a totally fresh Star Wars experience by just going back to the drawing board and saying, we're going to set it here, brand new world, brand new characters. Jedi are in this state, Sith are in this state. Like, it's a simple model, but you can do so much with it.
So, Dream, what did you think of the debut trailer from this morning? It was about 2.5 minutes. Introduced a few of the characters. You got sort of Cal Kestis's mantra. He's never stand out, accept what has happened, and never reveal your force powers. He's trying to live this simple, force-free life. Trying to just blend in with general populace, and clearly that doesn't go to plan. What do you reckon?
Yeah, he can clearly force pull and force push like a motherfucker, eh? I think he used that 5 times in the trailer.
Yeah, that looks like it's his only ability. He's just always pulling things in and pushing things away.
Just figures out. I also like the Man of Steel scene where he saves his coworker from dying on a job site. I thought that was a nice little way to bring out his force powers. Yeah, it looks good. I mean, it does look gorgeous. Graphically, it looks fantastic. I think it's weird that it's not weird. It's like the Star Wars, Disney Star Wars at the moment. It's funny how it forgets everything that happens in episode 1, 2, and 3. Really leans into the original series.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was an interesting sort of contrast to see the Darth Sidious Order 66 hologram, and then a couple of scenes later, you see him fighting with the person with the double-edged electro spear thing.
One of the Purge troopers.
Yeah, which looks like something out of the latest films.
Yeah, it looks like it's similar to the guy out of The Force Awakens.
Yeah,
remember the guy that
The guy TR-8R, the guy that fights
Yeah.
Finn. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it looks cool. Like, it does look good. Don't get me wrong. I would have preferred, fucking just create a brand new world, man. I'm kind of really done with Skywalker. With these last few films, I feel like they could do so much more.
Yeah,
And they're very creative. Like, Disney are really creative. They could do a lot of good in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, it's interesting because they like going back to that well of exterminate all the Jedi. That seems to just be the constant. It's like, here's a special sort of hunting party, like the Inquisition. Oh, what do they call them? The Empire's Inquisitorial Squad. That's a shit ass word, and that's sort of made up of those purge troopers that you saw, and the second sister is the sort of the main huntress in this one. So
just call it a shit ass word.
Yeah, it really is.
That's the greatest thing I'm going to hear all day. That's the greatest thing.
Inquisitorial. That's the way to pronounce it. So apologies about that. But
no, still, I prefer shit ass as a word.
It's a shit ass word.
I'm going to say it again to someone today. Anyway, sorry, mate. Didn't mean to cut you off.
So the purge troopers, and then second sister is going to be your constant sort of nemesis in this game. Obviously, you see her dual wielding the she's got the double bladed lightsaber, sort of almost a hybrid version of Darth Vader and Kylo Ren, the helmet and the look. But yeah, the trailer looked really nice. You can't fault Respawn there. And one of the cool things as well is they confirmed that this is running on the Unreal Engine, not the Frostbite engine, which gives so many people headaches. Obviously, they can do really great sort of environmental effects and quality of life in that regard. But Unreal is the engine for this. So excited, even more excited. This comes out in November. So what's that, like 6-7 months away this game drops. So let's get it.
Yeah. I think from here already it's an auto buy straight away, just in time for Christmas too.
Yeah, and
right around the release of the third film of
Yes.
Rise of Skywalker.
That's it. Get those Force sort of hype emotions sort of starting to build to the what is it, a Boxing Day release for Rise of Skywalker?
I don't know. I didn't see. I saw the trailer when it dropped yesterday, but I didn't
It's
catch it.
it's late in the year. It's holiday 2019.
Yeah. It's December. It's definitely December. But I always thought it was, they typically release a couple of weeks out from Christmas. Because they got to sell the toys. That's the thing.
I'm going to cut this dead air.
Yeah,
19th of so it comes out on the 19th of December. So
Right,
the week before Christmas.
Cool. Beautiful.
But yeah, Star Wars fans are feeling pretty positive on the back of these two sort of trailers that dropped this past weekend. But and power to them, like Respawn and EA, for getting on that front foot, and they're like, no multiplayer, story, single base content, no microtransactions, like black and white, all out there for everyone to be aware of. So good on them for getting on the front foot on that, instead of getting into another schmozzle with Battlefront-esque sort of repercussions.
Battlefront's like $5 now. Did you know? Battlefront 2.
Really?
Yeah, no
Worth
BS.
picking up. That's a steal.
If you can go to Big W, I'm pretty certain it's $5 at Big W.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, you can't even get Battleborn for that cheap.
No. Oh, remember that game?
No,
Remember
no one
Battleborn?
remembers that game.
Wow.
I saw it
That game
advertised
disappeared
recently
really
for
quick.
like $7. I was like, it's too
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
I can't even believe the servers are on. Fuck.
They're probably not. They're probably all turned off now.
Yeah. Anyway,
Man, that game came and went quick.
it's what happens
All
when
right,
you
Dream.
release a game that looks like Overwatch the same week as Overwatch.
Yeah. So, all right, Dream. I wanted to bring up the topic of the show for this week, and I wanted to pose this question for you to incite some good discussion. With word coming out earlier this week that a millionaire wants to set up a real-life 3-day Battle Royale event with celebrities as the characters, I ask you this. Who would you put your money on to win the whole thing, and who would be the worst performer or out first? So I guess a little bit more expansion. They wanted to do like a 3-day sort of almost like a paintball type of, oh, happy days, high fives sort of stuff. But we're going like full Lord of the Flies, Hunger Games style here. This is like fight to the death, only one victor, 100 drop in, 99 celebrities die, one person walks out. Who would that one person be?
Tom Cruise, for sure.
Tom Cruise.
Fuck, absolutely. Absolutely Tom Cruise.
Interesting.
And I've got well, not a lot, but like I've thought about this, and I firmly believe it's Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise has jumped out of airplanes. He's actually done Halo training, like high altitude, low orbit jumps. He's done more weapons training and fucking like free running training than any other action star I know that isn't in like Chinese cinema. I think he actually could kill people. Like he's done enough training to fucking kill people. He dives, he jumps off buildings, he's fearless, and he's like OT 15 as well in Scientology, which means that
I was about to say, yeah, he's got aliens on his side too.
He's got that, so he's probably telekinetic as well. So he's just he's the package, mate. Who do you think's gonna win?
That's pretty good, actually. Like, you clearly thought this through more than I did. Like, I had a short list in my head. Like, I went, okay, someone like The Rock could be there.
List. I've got Stallone.
He's a big physical specimen, action star.
Oh yeah,
probably just rip people in half with his hands, type of thing. And then I was thinking of someone like Bear Grylls, but then they sort of fall under the title of celebrity. He could just, wait it out and just hide to the final circle and then just come in and, throw his own acidic piss at somebody and kill him that way. Like,
he is a celebrity and he's a good pick. I like Bear Grylls.
But I was hedging my bets with Keanu Reeves on this one.
Really?
He is the ageless wonder. Is he still 20? Is he 65? Who knows? Like he transcends space and time. He's very, very adequate with martial arts training. He's done sort of obviously weapons training on the back of John Wick and a few of the other sort of more shooter action films he's been part of. He's done hand-to-hand combat and sort of, weapons training in regards to sort of knife work and blades from doing 13 Ronin, I think it was, that he did. He's obviously traveled back in time in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, so he's probably no doubt learnt all kinds of fighting abilities over the years, going from the Roman era right through to today.
Hold on. Is it Keanu Reeves or is it Ted?
Hey, he is that character too. He embodies Ted.
They're doing a new one. Did you know that?
They are.
They're doing a new Bill and Ted.
Look too bad. Yeah, and also, on the back of things like Point Break and Speed, he knows sort of how to get around a map. He could, make his hay in the water outside of the island and just be surfing around and sort of, carving up a few mad barrels while everyone else is dying. And then he comes in and John Wicks a few fools. So I'm putting my money on Keanu Reeves, but I'll tell you what, your argument on Tom Cruise is very sound. And, it's maybe they're in the final zone. Who knows?
I think they would be. I think we both thought of different people, but we both thought along the same lines. Who most likely can do the shit they do in the movies in real life. That's kind of what... Yeah.
I thought about, like... I'll say someone else on my short list, and maybe you can tell me a couple that you had sort of scribed down too. Obviously, I thought about, like, Chuck Norris, but I'm like, man, he's so old now. Like, even though he is this embodiment of a meme now about how tough he is and everything else, he's 60-odd, so I don't think... his knees alone would survive the free fall drop in from the plane for the first zone. So he might be out sort of straight off the bat.
Yeah.
What about you? Who was a few sort of honorable mentions?
I thought of Stallone for a moment because of Rambo, obviously, and then I thought Stallone would probably be the first to go. I feel like
how come? Too aggressive.
I just don't buy it. I just don't think. Anything he does in any of the films, he could do in real life. Short of boxing, like back in his prime, I'm sure he could box a little bit.
He can arm wrestle like no one's business too.
Yeah, probably. I just don't see him in a bush, making it. I think he'd be really loud. Well, fuck am I? Just fucking talking to himself the whole time, and then Tom Cruise would pop him. I was just trying, and then like because I thought of Tom Cruise, I was thinking like, well, who else in the sort of spy game, could do it? Like that's what I'm going for here is spies. And I thought like Matt Damon. I thought Matt would suck. I thought
what about like Jason Statham?
Maybe like I don't know. It's hard to tell with Statham. It's hard to tell like. Because the thing Tom Cruise has is Tom Cruise can do all the environment shit and he can also shoot weapons. I don't know how reliably Statham can do environment stuff and weapons. I know he can do Hollywood stuff, I don't know. It's a hard thing to really answer. I would like to see this millionaire maybe forget the battle royale thing, but just do like a cage match. And let's see who really is, top dog in the action arena.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Fun.
That's fair. That'd be cool to see. Imagine getting all the action stars and martial arts stars from the 80s and 90s together for a fighting tournament.
That'd be sick. That'd be so good. It'd be like Expendables, but real life,
Yeah.
Can I go back? I know we're going to wrap up. Can I just go back to one thing really quickly because you mentioned Keanu Reeves? It is 20 years this year since The Matrix. 20-year anniversary of The Matrix. And I rewatched all 3 Matrix films recently and I love them. I think they don't age all that bad. The effects are the effects, and you've got to forgive it a little bit. Bear in mind, 20 years, but they are fantastic films. The first one in particular is a sensational film, and I actually didn't mind the Revolutions and Reloaded and Revolutions. I think in order. I didn't mind them on second watch, and I watched the Animatrix again. It's such a cool world, man. I actually really wonder what they'll do if they'll ever go back there. To the Matrix. I think it's
no doubt they will.
Great stuff. Oh, of course they will. Probably a TV
Maybe they'll
series
bring in
coming
Nick
up.
Cage to finally play. They'll play Bizarro Neo. He can come in and take the role he turned down way back when.
Yeah. Did you know Sandra Bullock was also slated to play Neo?
Really?
I found that out recently. Yeah.
Wow.
I was listening to a podcast covering the 20-year anniversary, and apparently Sandra Bullock was slated to play Neo as well, and like a weird.
That's crazy.
Not a weird twist, but like in a twist on the character being female. Yeah.
See, and you just activated my trap card then too, because I forgot about referencing the Matrix as far as Keanu Reeves winning this thing. He can just be dodging bullets all day, so ain't no one going to be shooting. He'll be doing them, funky backwards bends, avoiding bullets and, crossbow bolts and things like that. Like
crazy old time travel and bullet time Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He, as I said, he transcends space and time. He's the dude. And,
he is.
He'll lull people into a false sense of security with like a sad Keanu moment where we'll be sitting on a rock, just sitting there sad, throwing food to, some tropical bird because there's no pigeons. Then whack, you're done.
Yeah.
All right. One quick question on this too before we wrap it up. Who do you think would be first to go, or who would you love to see on this island that does go quickly?
Vin Diesel. I would fucking love to see Vin Diesel on this island because I feel like he'd get in there. He'd probably think he's a shoo-in, and he would be the first to go. And he's such a he just strikes me as such a wanker that I would just like to see him go down and then blow up about it. Yeah, he's the kid. Vin Diesel's the kid who sucks at playing football but owns the football. And so because he's getting no points and tackled all the time, he just picks up the ball and walks home halfway through the game.
That's a perfect way to describe Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
He's, from everything you see and hear and read and whatever else, he just seems like a dick.
Yeah.
Just this self-entitled dick, and especially like tying into all this, Fast and the Furious franchise shit where he wants more money and more creative control, and he rocks up on set when it suits him, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so yeah, I like that.
Hobbs and
Vin can go first.
Hobbs and Shaw is the future of the Fast and Furious universe. Done. That's it. I don't need any more Fast and Furious films. I got Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, I can see that, and a few other people that annoy me a little bit, like someone like Amy Schumer. I wouldn't mind seeing her drop in and get obliterated by a tiger or something straight off the bat.
Not a big Schumer fan?
No, she just irks me. Like, her comedy's not that great. She thinks she's something special, and obviously she's got a fan base to justify that to a degree, but it just doesn't sit with me. And I don't know, just her sort of comedic style pisses me off too. She just annoys me, man. Just get out of here. Get off my TV.
Yep.
But
Anyone
outside
else?
of that, I don't know. I'm trying to think of other people I could sort of take pleasure in seeing die quickly on this island.
Jeez. It's paintballs, mate. It's just paintballs.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
But okay. Amy Schumer must die.
Yep.
Do you think we'd see like Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Tony Jaa? I don't know who else is in like the sort of Asian action film world at the moment. The guy from The Raid, you know? I don't know. Like, do you think we'd see those guys go in there? Do you think they'd do well?
Yeah, I think Raid Guy and Tony Jaa and stuff would. Jet Li, not so much. He's gotten really old now and he's retired from film and probably martial arts too. Like, I think he's hit that age with some sort of cultures like that where they could be anywhere from 20 to 60 in age, but when they hit 61 physically, they turn 9,000.
Did you... Sorry, so many like realizations. Did you see this week they're doing Rush Hour 4?
What?
Yeah. I saw Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker in a photo together teasing Rush Hour 4.
Do we need that?
I'll watch it. I like seeing
guess
those
I
two
would
together.
too.
They were funny. Those were great films. Wait, is there Rush Hour 3?
I think there is, man.
I know there's Rush Hour 1 and 2. I don't know about... 3's in Paris. That's right, 3's in Paris. 2 is in China, I'm pretty sure, and 3's in Paris.
And 4 is in some other
Australia.
country that they can make fun of, yeah. Or England or something like that. They're over there trying to sort of stop Brexit. Yeah.
Oh, my friend.
So, the real life celebrity battle royale event potentially coming to screens near you soon. Sadly, it is just a 3-day island getaway for these celebrities and millionaire moguls that is just going to play glorified flag football or bloody paintball or some laser tag bullshit. But if you want to play with the big boys, take us on board as creative consultants. We can make this into something special.
Oh, we know Battle Royale.
Oh, yeah.
We know
just makes me
celebs.
think, remember Celebrity Deathmatch, the old claymation show?
Yeah.
God, I love that show.
That had everyone on it. It had Britney Spears on it, I remember. That was very weird.
Yeah, it was great. I love that claymation stuff. It's a dying art. Haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, stop motion animation in general. The best was what was that samurai one? And the 2 strings, something in the 2 strings.
I don't know.
Kibo or Kiro or something. Anyway, Kubo and the 2 strings. Watch it.
Couldn't tell you.
It's got Matthew
All right,
McConaughey
Dream.
voicing something. Anyway, sorry. I'll
Really?
shut up. Yeah, it's good. Kubo and the 2 strings. Watch
Damn.
it. With Archer. Watch it with Archer.
Might do. He's all about the Transformer life these days, though, which is great for me because I'm sort of going back down sort of memory lane with, watching the old Gen 1 stuff and the films and playing the games. It's pretty cute, actually.
Nice.
But anyway, Dream, anything you want to say before we wrap up episode 147 for the week, good sir?
Very excited for Game of Thrones. Go listen to episode 4 of Ape Out that I did with Toby and Matcha. I know we talked about it earlier, but it was a lot of fun. We basically had an hour and a bit of poking fun at Brendan, which was good in a really loving kind of way. If you don't really know much about Brendan and his personal life and like who he is outside of the podcast, go and listen to that because that'll tell you everything you need to know. All true. Everything we say in
All
there is
100% true. Can verify.
All factual. And that's it. Yeah. What about yourself, mate? Anything to finish off with?
Not really. Excited for this House of Mario crossover. So this is going to be the first time that someone else has taken control of our Hungry Gamers baby, and we're also going to go babysit the House of Mario sort of IP next weekend. So that's going to be exciting. But yeah, want to play some more Sekiro. Try and crack into some Ace Attorney this week. Game of Thrones tomorrow. I want to try and watch Hellboy, even though there are early reviews on that movie. It's kind of shitty. I want to check it out regardless because I'm a sucker for punishment. Yeah, that's about it. Endgame comes out in 2 weeks, so hyped is all for that. So yeah,
such a big month. Tame Impala just dropped a new album.
Oh, nice. No, obviously the election's been called for next month. It's all
May
happening
18th.
here in Australia.
It's all happening. All right.
Yeah, all right. So this has been episode 147 of the Hungry Gamers podcast. Thanks each and every one of you for dropping on by, giving us a listen. As I said, please rate, review, subscribe us on the iTunes as well as any other podcast hosting platform of your choice, because those reviews help keep those emotional lights on in our hearts. Until next week, 8-Bit Nation, I've been Brendan. Find me at Brendan 8-Bit. This has been Saleem. Find him at Saleem TD. But much love.
Stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.